Hello, everyone. My name is Jose Gaitan. I'm sorry, but my English is broken, so because it's my second language. But I want to talk about Genesis 2 and 3. Some of you know, or maybe nobody knows, I was studying to become a Catholic priest in Mexico. I was born and raised Catholic. I used to go to Sunday school when I was a child, and one of the topics that I was interested the most was when the instructor on the Catholic school talked about the origin of sin and how this sin is causing suffering and damage in the human beings, especially because in the paradise everybody was immortal, and after the original sin everybody has to die. So my first question as a child was why I had to pay somebody's fault. If Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, what I had to pay the price. Well, the instructor told me, okay, be obedient to your parents, be a good kid. If you always can do that, you can accuse them, but you cannot do that. So that's part of the human beings. We're sinners by nature. That's what she said. I was a little child, and even that answer not give me like a straight answer to be like, okay, I get that. That's a good argument. So I grew up. I got my first communion, confirmation, and all that. I even registered in a seminary to become a priest, but I resigned because a lot of things happened. When I was around maybe 16, 17 years old, I started thinking more like I had a lot of questions about the church, or why the Christianity is the true faith, or why the Catholic is the true faith. So one of my questions even was the origin of sin, why we had to be baptized in order to get rid of the origin of sin. So I started reading different books, and I never actually find a question. So that's what I got interested in doing this work. So the first thing here is that we had to understand the Genesis, especially from chapter 1 to chapter 11, that is pretty much like a mythology or a legend around the Christ or the Jews and Christians faith. We don't have to take that word by word, but we have to understand the meaning, the real meaning of what the writers communicate to us. So that's the first thing. We don't have to understand the Genesis word by word. I know through history, especially in our countries and our Christian countries, uh, Eve was the cause of the fall of the human, of the humanity, because she was the first that ate the forbidden fruit. For centuries, and we have seen that in our some of our readings, she was like the woman was treated like a second class human, especially because we take for granted that she was a sinner by nature because she was the first one that ate the forbidden fruit, and we had to take care of her all the time in order to for her not to do the same thing. And I remember being a child, and people say, "Oh, woman are sinner by nature," or women don't dress in the right way. That's what some of them are sexually abused or things like that. So we always, especially in my culture in Mexico, we use um, this saying of the Bible to justify our actions against the woman and what she had to serve us because um, God created her as a helper, but also she was a sinner. So some old writers like Aquinas said, well, if the man need a helper, the best helper that he can have is another man because if he's going out to hunt or to collect fruit or to seed, um, other men could be a better helper. So the only thing that according to him was was for woman was to procreate. So I remember sometime, especially on all cultures, if women don't get married or don't get married at a certain age, um, they say, "Oh, this woman is not good enough. Is she's not doing what she's supposed to do because the only job of them was to procreate." But interesting here, I read another guy, and this guy would say, "Well, I think we have a misconception about Eve because," and I never thought about this. And he said, "Well, Eve is the main character on Genesis, especially on the after she's being created from the rib of, of Adam, and she became an important part on Genesis because she is a thinker. She wants to be she wants to go further because when the serpent told her, "Well, you can become a god and you can know the good and right," so she said, "Well, that sounds good. So I want to go further." So she's smart, she's intelligent, and she's the main character here on this scene. So that's very interesting. And this author actually put the woman in the right place, which I'm totally agree with him because I don't see woman like a second class. Even like even the history is being written for men or by emperors or conquistadors or whatever. It's always a man on the scene, but I'm very surprised. Even the Bible is written by men, not by women. Uh, Eve is a more important character on this scene. So that's the first thing that I'm really surprised, and I like this. I mean, I like this point of view because the Bible in general and Genesis in particular uh, is up to a lot of interpretations. So the other thing that I like, what I would think about it is even that the God expelled Adam and Eve for the paradise, he didn't start blessing them. So at the end, that's a good thing. I mean, I would say that's a good thing that they ate the forbidden fruit and were expelled because after that the humanity is been evolving and it's been discovering and creating more inventions, more technology, and we're in a good spot. I know we have a lot of things to overcome, like hunger and poverty and war, but we're I think we're in the right place. And the first thing happened to humanity was to eat the forbidden fruit, because I can imagine that before Adam and Eve, or before the forbidden fruit, they didn't die because that comes with biology, and this is important part of evolution. So There's not enough time to talk about everything, but I mean, in general, this is the things that I wanted to talk about. Uh, the Genesis 2 and 3, which, how I said before, it is out to a lot of different interpretations, and everybody has their own choices or their own interests to make this interpretation. So thank you to you all, and I like this class so much. Sadly, I can't take it next semester, but I wish to take it the semester after the next. So thank you all, and happy holidays.